in front. Yeah.
Yeah, just put it on speaker, and then he can hold it up, and then put the phone down, and I'll ask another question.
Okay.
I mean, I was on a North Carolina radio station this morning, and they said, "Well, why is Congressman Davis going to this ICE center?" And I gave them my analysis, but you tell me why.
We've been on a journey. I asked myself some time ago, when we look at all of the issues that we're dealing with, whether securing the border, whether it's how we're processing detainees, how do we engage in this process? How do we get out there, roll up our sleeves, go to work for the people of Eastern North Carolina and the American people? So I started last Congress. We traveled to the southern border 3 times. Each trip, I learned something. We went to the hot spots. So as we have seen now, the number of unlawful crossings increase into the country, there's just a whole lot more conversation these days on detainees and detention centers and how we're processing these detainees. So I started in the beginning of the year, February, and I asked myself the question, if I'm in Eastern North Carolina, what's the process? And we've been on this journey of going through the process of if someone was detained in Eastern North Carolina, what would happen? So the first step was we went to Alamance County, to the ICE facility that services Eastern North Carolina. And from there, they often will send, and in the process, the detainees here to the regional facility at Stewart. So decided to come here to Stewart Detention Center here in Lumpkin, Georgia, to see what's taking place here. How are detainees processed here regionally? But not only that, I was able to travel on a congressional delegation as a member of the Armed Services Committee to Guantanamo Bay. So I was able to go out and evaluate how we're processing high and low threat detainees. But above all, what I would say in all of this is when you look at the illegal drugs that's made into our country, fentanyl, the activity of the cartel, this is impacting all of our communities. This is just not about border communities. This is about all of our communities. And my commitment is doing everything I can. That's why I filed the MAP Act, so that we can trace pills that are coming into the country. That's why we're working to make sure we can increase screenings. That's why it is so important when you're talking nearly 200 people to die across this country every day with overdose. This is huge. And I believe this is something we should all have concern about and have interest in making sure that we're protecting families not only in Eastern North Carolina, but across the country.
And contrast the importance of this visit, or why you're going there, to those who have gone, some of your colleagues have gone to El Salvador. You know, they focused on Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Your mission seems to be very different here, going domestically to this center in the South.
My focus started this journey last Congress. As I said, I traveled to the southern border 3 times. I began this journey early this year as we traveled to Alamance County and now here to Lumpkin, Georgia, as we've traveled as a member of the Armed Services Committee to Guantanamo Bay. My journey is to really understand what's taking place so that we can do everything we can to help make sure that we are that voice and we're fighting and standing up for the people of Eastern North Carolina. I mean, that's what I was elected to do. And when you see families that have been impacted in the way that they've been impacted, in particular with fentanyl, overdoses that are taking place, it's just have a devastating impact on so many families. And this is not something to stay on the sidelines. This is not something to just hold back or play politics. I believe we should all take interest, roll up our sleeves, let's do this work so that we can make the best decisions for our families, across the country. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm on this mission. And again, when we look at where we are, it is so important that we secure the border. And I want to be very clear on that. We must secure the border. Also, now when we see there's just so much interest and concerns about how we're processing detainees, I believe it's important, and we have to come to agreement on some basics. We should agree that those with criminal records, there shouldn't be discussion or debate about deporting those with criminal records and backgrounds. You know, should there be due process? Absolutely, there should be due process. But we should not disagree on that. And not only that, I will raise a greater issue. I've been serving on the Agriculture Committee. We know that there's a great concern in particular about our H-2A workers. We need to continue to examine how we can create, I believe, a pathway to lawful work. That is so important right now because in this country, workforce is so important, it's essential. How do we help strengthen that in Eastern North Carolina, in rural America? So this is multi-dimensional, and we're not relenting, and we are in this for the people of Eastern North Carolina for the right reason.
Let me ask this. Do you think there's a difference in the politics inside the Democratic Party of those who, on their face, it appears that they're more interested in what's going on in El Salvador versus you looking at this domestically?
I believe everyone...
You're a Democrat. Understand your district. I understand, the district of Maxine Dexter and Robert Garcia and Maxwell Frost who've all gone to El Salvador.
I believe members were elected to Congress just as I was, and at the end of the day, I stand on my record. We're working for the people of Eastern North Carolina.
Well, but I guess what I'm asking, is there a difference? Are there political pressures for them to do what they've done to go to Central America versus you going to the ICE Center here? You have different types of political priorities, I guess?
Well, I would simply say I wake up every single day. And when I wake up, I'm thinking about families across Eastern North Carolina that I'm honored to be able to represent and serve. And I want to do everything I can to give them my all. And there's so much interest. I hear it every single day. I've spoken to so many families. And I want to be clear, the single thing that motivates me in all of this is serving, pouring my heart and soul into serving the families of Eastern North Carolina, and I believe in doing so, and especially on a topic like this, when you see so many families, mothers and fathers who are dealing with issues with children, young people impacted. I mean, when I would travel to the southern border, talking to the port director, was showing me fentanyl and how they're using different colors to become more appealing to children. We have to do something. This is not the time for anyone to play politics. This is the time for all of us to step up to the plate for our country, for the families across our country. That's what people back home are telling me.
Let me ask this here, because this is kind of a news of day question. I'm very curious to hear what you find when you come out later this afternoon and give us your report then. But if I can just ask a news of day question here, since we have you and everybody's spread to the four winds because of the recess here. You're in your second term. You're in your early 50s. What do you make of this call here for this youth movement inside the Democratic Party? People who are older, they want to move them along. Dick Durbin retired yesterday.
I believe it's so important for members to show up and give it their all, regardless of their age. I think the true test is the ability to come up, articulate the voices of those you're given the honor to represent, to serve, and to be in the fight for the families that you're given to represent. And I don't know that that's totally capped by a number of age, but I would say at the end of the day, it's the desire, the passion to get up and work for families every single day. And for me, that's the most important measure.
Do you think that some of these folks have stayed too long?
I'll put it this way. I'm focusing right now on doing everything I can. I'm right here at the Stewart Detention Center. Throughout the week, we've gone on what I've called, and this is part of what I'm calling, meet residents where they are. I believe we have to meet people where they are. People are busy. People are doing things. Families are struggling right now, still just trying to put food on the table, make ends meet, raise kids, and we have to meet them where they are. We can't just sit back and expect people to come to us or just send us a tweet or a message on social media, but we have to get out there in the communities, and that's what we've been doing. And having been out there, people have expressed to me concerns about the border. They've expressed concerns about illegal substances that have made it into our communities. These are things that I'm hearing. And matter of fact, that's why I'm here today, because I'm in the community and I'm talking and making rounds, talking to residents. We had a town hall. I have 22 counties, the largest geographic congressional district in North Carolina. So instead of doing it in person, because there was so much interest in town halls as people were watching what was taking place across the country, so we did a teletown hall. Almost 13,000 constituents weighed in. You know what they're telling me? They're interested in making sure that we're working for them. They're concerned about issues such as Social Security. They're concerned about the border. I mean, there are so many concerns, and to me, this is what gets me up. This is what keeps me up at night. This is what keeps me passionately working every single day as a member of Congress, honored to represent the 1st District of North Carolina.
And just to conclude here, because I know you have to go here, and I do too, but I just want to understand something. You know, there's this push, you know, that the DNC is meeting today about, telling David Hogg and some of these folks, you can't run people against primaries, etc. Is that causing a divisiveness in the Democratic Party? Is that a concern?
My aim has been to do everything I can to represent the people of the 1st District, and that's what I've stayed focused on. I've not gotten into all those details.
That's something that, like I said, you're in your 2nd term. You've not been here forever. I mean, what's the difference between a younger member, somebody who's new to the game here, new to Capitol Hill, versus somebody who maybe has been here for decades? That there's this backlash that's going on.
I would hope at the end of the day, the people across the country, no matter what the congressional district is, they're going to measure their member by the work that they're doing. And what I would ask is to be measured by the work that we're doing, and that's why we're right here at the Stewart Detention Center.
Is there something I missed that you'd like to add before you go in?
I appreciate it. I think you did a great job.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, and thank you to Tommy and Delia and everybody there. So, thank you.
Thanks for taking interest.
Thank you, Chad.
I appreciate it. Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Bye, Chad. Bye,
Oh, no.
Yeah, well done. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
of course.
for being flexible and
Yeah.
looping me in here and doing this. I appreciate it. Yeah, and we'll see you after. I will. If whatever you want to tell us afterwards, I'll be there.
Perfect.
Yeah, we should be out here by. I let them know because it's timed it out, so we'll probably be out here by 12:50, 12:55.
Okay.
And we just have to get on the road by 1:15.
Okay, Tommy, you want to just text me and give me a 15 or 20 minute heads up, but I'll be back plenty early. So
Good to
thanks
see
so
you.
much.
Thank
sir.
you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a good tour. Yep.